Yo, what's going on, boys? It's your boy Iron Farter here. Today I bring you a guide for TOB. For teleports, you can just search minigame teleports or just type it up here, TOB. There it is. To get started, I am running a solo. Running in teams will be easier for the learning procedure. For gear, follow my gear, or if you have any better gear, that will be much better. Bear in mind that you cannot use non-OSRS items such as Pernix, Virtus. You can use Torva, like this guy is over here, because Torva is an OSRS item. Inquisitor will be best in slot. If you have a blowpipe, I would bring that instead of the Bofa. It's pretty similar. You can just match any gear. You can get some less switches for mage or even range if you need more brews. That's just something for you to figure it out after trying. I will be running a solo, however, running in teams will be much easier to learn. I'm just doing this to show you each individual room and some tactics for it. Make a party, or if you are joining someone else, you just click on their name and join. I like to bring ancients, so you can use a freeze. I have a Kodai, that is why I don't have to bring water runes in my pouch. Now to start off, if you are doing solos, Maiden will hit you with Mage. If you are doing solos, you want to switch to your magic gear, or your range gear for your mage defense. Otherwise, you will be using a lot of food in this room. Dragon Warhammer or Bandos God Sword will work for all of the rooms except for Verzik, which is the final boss that you have to kill. As you can see, between every attack, Maiden is attacking me. I will switch to the gear. Once she throws those blood splats at you, you have to move, otherwise you will get a guaranteed blood spawn and it will drain your prayer, HP, and heal Maiden. At 70%, we'll get your first set of crabs. You want to freeze those, otherwise they will heal Maiden. So I froze them, now I'm going to use Blood Barrage to heal up. Getting those switches in so you don't get hit too hard from Maiden. The crabs will spawn at 70, 50, and 30%, so you have 3 sets of crabs. Next set of crabs is coming up soon, we're at 53%. There they come. Freeze them. Now we heal and switch in between to minimize the damage. If you are still learning, you do not have to bring a Divine Super Combat, or you don't even need it at all. But I prefer doing so because I usually don't have to eat. It just helps me preserve 18 combat stats. This is one of the annoying rooms, a set of crabs where you have to freeze both of them. They don't stack on top. Now, if you are still learning, I do recommend you eat here. Don't risk your HP getting that low. But more experienced people will know what they're doing, don't really have to worry about it. That is why I bring a rocktail anyways. Maiden can hit a 16, which was I was just at that HP. However, I was just risking it so I don't have to eat a brew. Next up, we have bloat. That is why you bring your salve amulet. You do not need it, it just makes the room easier. Do not want to enter bloat if he's over here because he will throw flies at you and you will take a lot of damage. You always want to stay on the opposite side of the pillar of the chamber. And once he goes down, that's when you can start attacking him. You can usually do 4 DDS specs or 6 hits in general. If you have a scythe, that'll be less, of course. See, he went down. I wasn't paying attention because I was talking. I'm not going to get the 6 hits. Probably just going to do 5 and run. Gonna get hit, that's why I put the Ellie on. Now you want to avoid these falling hands. 7 sets of these hands will come down before bloat will go down again and you can attack him. You can either count them or you can just wait, see when bloat goes down like that. You can see right now bloat is running fast. He will run fast between 70 and 30%. So after this phase I should get him down to less than 30. He will go back to walking, which is much easier. If I had more HP, I would have stayed there and tanked that hit. Just try to kill it instead of an extra phase, but I'm low HP. This is 3 here. 4. 5. 6. And number 7, we can attack him. He went down. After this room, you don't need the salve anymore. You can just use it on this chest and it will send it to your bank. Next up, we have the Nilo room. This is a tribrid room. However, if you are doing solos, I recommend you ignore most of the big crabs unless they are attacking you. Now you can see these supports, they all have a HP bar. If they start getting too low, I would recommend you focus on that pillar so it doesn't die because you will take damage from that. If I had a blowpipe, I would focus more on the rangers, but I do not have one, and Bofa is kind of slow. Now you can see this big crab is on me. That's the only time I would actually attack one of the big crabs. Most important in this room and for the boss later on is you want to always have a neat inventory. Once you start messing up with your inventory, that's when it just gets bad. The small Nilos have 8 HP. That's how you can tell you killed it right away. The big ones have 16 HP. I always like to focus mage because with your blood barrage, obviously you're healing, you don't have to eat. The reason I say to ignore most crabs is because they will despawn. We'll see a good amount of them just disappearing. Using a Dragon Warhammer or BGS is not really beneficial for this. I do want to stress on keeping your inventory organized for this, otherwise you will just mess up. These will disappear like that. And now we have the big Nilo boss. Spam click, you will get 3 DDS hits. If you wait for it to completely drop, you may only get 2. Obviously I don't have Torment and it's not worth using that leech. That's why I don't use it. If you do use a wrong combat attack on one of them, you will take a serious amount of damage. So you want to try to avoid that. Which is why I stress on having a organized inventory so you know where to switch all the time. And that's that room complete. Next up, we have Sodetseg. This is the real, only the real room where you will actually have to use a decent amount of brews, but you get more brews from that chest when you are done. So you want to do 1 Dragon Warhammer spec, so you can use the 1 spec for every phase. However, if you do hit a 0, I sometimes like to double spec, because it can be quite tough. He throws these little balls at you, that's a range ball, but you don't want to switch too early, otherwise his melee will hit you. That's the mage ball. Now if you find yourself taking too much damage, you can just camp your Elysian Spirit Shield. Now if you are running solos, you will be doing this maze alone, so I have to run it the first time. At the time of this guide, the maze, there is True Tile active, so that's why I'm able to skip over certain points of this maze. However, if you are doing this at a later time and this was changed, then you will have to follow the maze on the red path completely. So this is the second phase. I'm going to use another Dragon Warhammer spec. This is Sodiceg's special ball. Can either hit a 45 or a 60 depending if you're Ellie procs. If you are doing bigger size teams, it will hit more than that. I think it can hit up to 90s. So just eat up when you see that. This is the next phase. You don't want to go too slow because you can see you have that maze following you. That will do a serious amount of damage. Now we're low HP, so let's eat up. That is the end of this room. You may need to bring extra super restores. I'm not sure honestly, but I am an Uber, so I have a prayer renewal active with my donor perk. Not need this many brews. I only bring this much because I have the extra space and just in case. Stamina for solos. I usually don't use one, but if you get a tough Verzik, may need it. So I just bring it as backup. Now for this room, if you're in a solo, you're gonna have to stand on these exhumes. 5 of them, to be exact, until Zarpus spawns. And you can just follow the tactic I'm doing when you're attacking Zarpus. It will throw poison splats at you. You want to avoid those. This is why I like the Divine Super Combat. I'm still at 118 HP. Alright, so Zarpus will come to life after this one, if I counted correctly. Yep, there it is. So you're going to do one hit, step back, another hit, step back. If you are still learning, I do recommend just doing one hit at a time. If you are more experienced, you can do this instead. You'll be able to get 2 hits instead of 1. It's just all about timing. Once you get into the rhythm, it's very easy. I will do some more easier ones if you're still learning, doing one hit at a time, just like that. A very simple rip. Shouldn't take any damage at all. I was a bit late for that one, so I won't be able to make 2 attacks. I was late for that one as well. Just gotta get into the rhythm, count the ticks, get used to the ticks. Fine, super combat is over. Once he does that screech at around 22 to 23%, you will face one side. You do not want to attack from that side, otherwise you will most likely die. If you're using a sail door or any weapon other than a scythe, you can do 3 hits safely. And then after that, you can just run to the side that he's facing because he will never turn to the same side twice. If you're being lazy, you can just run through, which I sometimes do since you take no damage. I mean, you have full HP, so it's fine if you take some damage. Alright, now that you're done, you always want to get this. If you're doing more than solos, if you're doing a duo, trio, or whatever, only one person has to pick this up. So we've got to make space for it. Just gonna drop a brew, that many brews. So there are 3 phases to Verzik. Drop these brews so I can maximize my mage by taking off those 2. If you are doing solos, you want to camp the Dawnbringer at all times. So you start it. You can do 5 hits for the first phase. 3, 4, and 5. Then you have to stand in the middle behind this pillar, and you're safe like that. If you are still learning, I recommend you only do 3 hits, so it'd be 1, 2, and that's 3. And you just wait here until Verzik's animation starts. But if you time it properly, you can do 4 hits. 3, that's 4. Always use your special attack. You want to use it 3 specs and solos. When this supporting pillar is about to die, you want to run over there, but make sure you time it in between the attacks so you don't get hit by Verzik. I don't think I'm gonna have to run over, but I'm gonna do it anyways just to show you. You just do it like that in between her attacks. Now, for any reason these 2 pillars die, if you are still learning and taking too much time, that should never happen. Another safe spot is behind these pillars over here on that tile. I'm getting hit because I was just running, showing you guys where to stand. This is phase 2 of Verzik. So you want to do 1 hit, back. You don't want to stand too close, otherwise you will get bounced away. If you do get bounced, you want to spam click so one of her firing balls don't hit you. I will do one just to show you guys. Got hit there, so you want to spam click away so this next one doesn't hit you. Once this purple healer spawns, you need either a blowpipe or a poison dragon dagger to kill it. And you want to run away from any type of crabs that spawn, otherwise they will hit you for when they spawn. I've gotten hit anywhere from 12 up to like 25 or so. This white ball in solos, you cannot avoid it. Just gotta tank through it. You can stand from any side and do what I'm doing, it doesn't matter. It's wherever you feel comfortable. So you're gonna do this until 35%. Once it hit 35%, it will spawn a red crab. You don't have to necessarily kill it, but get it at least below a quarter HP. Otherwise it will heal Maiden, or whatever damage you have not dealt to it. So if the crab has 15 HP, it will heal Verzik for 15 HP. That's another healer crab. I moved away from it, killed it with a DDS, and moved away from that second crab. We're almost at 35%. There it is, that's 35. A healer crab spawns. Like I said, you don't have to kill it all the way. That's enough damage. It's only going to heal it for maybe a 10. That's fine because I will do more damage than that anyways. If you are still learning, I do recommend you eat up here. I'm not going to take any more damage until this phase is over, unless you mess up, get hit by the bounce. Once Verzik reaches around 3%, that's when I will eat up, because third phase of Verzik can hit you pretty hard through your prayers, especially the melee. Now we're starting third phase. You always want to camp melee prey, unless you see the animation starting. That's mage. That's range. You also want to move away from the crabs. Right, this is the first phase of webs. You cannot get hit here unless you get stuck in the webs, so just follow what I'm doing. Now if you are doing with other players and you are both gonna run webs, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd recommend the learner to just run on the outsides and use range, so you don't get in the way of the more experienced player. Verzik's melee can hit like a 29, maybe even more, so you do not want to stay too low HP. When this spawns, You have to run. If you don't stand on top of this when it spawns, when the ball drops, you will take around 60 damage. Now a big ball is going to fly at me. Your Ellie will not help against the damage. However, I do put it on so I have some more defense so I can brew up and not take a lot of damage. Get that third Dragon Warhammer spec in, away from that crab. At around 20%, these tornadoes will spawn. If it does hit you, it will do damage to you, as well as heal Verzik, so you do not want to do that. This is a second phase of crabs, of webs, doing the same thing. You sometimes will take longer than this, so you might have to tank a second green ball, or even do that yellow circle with the tornadoes present. That's it. Let's see if we can get blessed with a purple for doing this guide. It's unfortunate. If you have any questions, feel free to PM me in game or on Discord. I hope this helped. Peace out.